Welcome, everybody. This is going to be the Metal Detectorists podcast. My panel and I tonight, we're going to go through some questions. Everybody's going to introduce themselves and their channel, and then we're going to have a conversation starting at beginning stages of metal detecting. We're going to work our way all the way up through intermediate stuff, how we find permissions, stuff that we do there, and hopefully we'll provide a good time for you. First one on my list today, I'm going to start with the guys from We Dig It, and they're going to introduce themselves and tell you what their YouTube channel is and how they got into the hobby.
All right, so my name is Gene.
I'm Gene.
I'm Steph.
And our channel name is We Dig It. So we started metal detecting late 2019, and that was kind of right before the pandemic started. And it started, of course, in March, and that's when our channel started, was March of 2020. We just had more time on our hands, and we were already doing some metal detecting. So we said we wanted to kind of show my parents. They don't live where I live, my in-laws, and so we said, let's start uploading things to YouTube so they can watch it. And then other people started commenting on our videos, and we realized, wow, a lot of people watch these things, and there's a big community out there. So that's kind of how it happened for us. We accidentally backed into the community there. So,
all right, guys. Well, thanks a bunch. I mean, and your story is very identical to mine, which I'll get into once we get through here. But the rest of the panel tonight consists of one YouTube channel. I've got two guys from the PA Relic Hunters. I'm going to start with Mr. Jerry right now, and he's going to fill us in a little bit about him and introduce himself and his channel.
Well, so my name is Jerry. I'm with the PA Relic Hunters. I actually started a channel before I met the PA Relic Hunters on my own. I ended up getting burnt out because, as these guys know, it's a lot of work. Getting out there and detecting every day that you can, amongst, having to go to work and deal with the family, and then coming home and spending time on, the computer editing these videos. I got burnt out pretty good. So, but in the middle of things, like he said, it's such a large community. And I was actually talking to Rich from the PA Relic Hunters in the meantime, and he noticed that I wasn't putting out as many videos. So he says, hey, you want to get together and go do some hunts? And we started off with some woods hunts and things like that, and then got to meet Dave and Sean, and kind of hit it off with them guys. And I was with them so much, they just offered to for me to join. But how I really got into metal detecting was, I always found it fascinating. I do like the research. I like looking at old maps and things like that. So it just happened that down over the hill from my house, on my neighbor's property that I was friends with, there was a dot on an old 1860s map, and there was no dot there in 1908 because I had two different maps. So I went down there and I got my little Garrett 400 and started looking for iron in the ground, and it turned out to be one of the most amazing sites I've ever been on. And ever since then, I was hooked.
Yeah, absolutely. That just kind of reminds me of the first time somebody walks into a casino and they put $5 in a slot machine and hit a couple hundred. That you're going to be stuck for life at that point.
Yeah, I am addicted.
Yeah. Hey, and that's a good thing. Basically, I think we all fall into that same boat. But before we go any further, let's grab the other PA Relic Hunter that's in here, Mr. Rich.
All right, what's up, guys? I am Rich. I am one of the three original PA Relic Hunters, and then we absorbed Jerry, which I was just listening to. So it was one of those things, is like I could tell that he was burning out. So it was like kind of, we needed another person, I think, and we needed his skills and his avenue down in our channel. So that's why we ended up getting him in there, and he was really more than happy to come hang out with us, and now he's a true part of the channel, which is awesome. And I made him leave already. Look at that. Anyways, no, so we started our channel. Sean originally started the channel in actually almost the same time as Eugene. Our actually first video went out April 20. Actually, today's our anniversary. 1 year anniversary today, or 3 year anniversary today.
that's cool.
I just looked at my time or calendar there. So anyways, yeah, so we started April 25th was our very first video. It was just Sean, and then we ended up starting to I met up with him like after that. He put his first video out, and then it was just me and him. And then 2 weeks later, or like probably 2 videos later, we ended up having Dave come on as for a hunt, and then we ended up making the first 3, and we kept it for about 2 years. And then we got Jerry in on the beginning of the 3rd year of us, maybe a little over. It's been about a year and a little over a year and a half, right, Jerry? It's about that. Yeah. So anyways, so I mean, the channel's been fun. It's been great. It's growing like crazy, which, is crazy to see. And, we love doing it. And that's the biggest one is we didn't even care if we did anything other than just make videos, because we kind of enjoyed it and putting the history out there for other people to see. I mean, when we were digging, the enthusiasm that you have by digging something is just so great that I was wanting other people to for us to have other people see it is what was fun about it too. So getting people to see the adventures that we go on is half the battle. And that's just, that makes it so much better. It's not me going out on a weekend where I just go by myself, which I have done lately, getting an hour out. I'll go out an hour. I don't even film sometimes because it's not as exciting when you're filming by yourself. So it's hard. So when you're with the guys, it's a lot better. So
yeah, those are all great points. And since we're targeting new audiences with this little podcast here, my name is Shane. My channel is called Ohio River History. If you found this podcast, you probably know that already. The main thing that I like to say is that I have ambition, and I have ambition for all aspects of this. I want to be excited for myself. I want to teach. I want to learn from everybody else. And I want to provide a good atmosphere for the next person in the hobby, which is where we're going to kind of focus today. We're going to focus on basically somebody that may be brand new that wants to get into this hobby, what kind of obstacles they're going to have to overcome, how they're going to go about it. And that's what this episode of this podcast is going to be about. Also, I run 2 websites, mondaydigs.com, #MondayDigs on YouTube is mine and Gene's and a few other guys is where we show our videos in succession just to let everybody see it. And then I believe the PA Relic Hunters drop their videos on a Friday or a Saturday. Is that correct?
Saturday.
Yeah, I have a hard time keeping up with it. But so we've got them here together today because they work as a group. The Monday Digs people, we work as a group. And then we're just gonna touch on a little bit today on the things that we've learned and come across. I'm gonna start with Rich on on my first question here today for this group. Everybody's been kind of introduced, and Rich, I want to know, you're going out metal detecting on a Saturday. You get ready to leave the house. What's in your backpack? Detector. You start with everything you got to make sure you have when you leave the house that day.
That's funny because sometimes I always forget something. So I always depend on everyone else to bring something extra. So besides that, I mean, the backpack is literally my belt with my pinpointer, my little hand digger. I bring my shovel. I have a little checklist that goes off in my head. I bring the detector. Depending on where I'm going, I might bring a second coil. It's in the backpack though. It's depending on where we're going. There might be some toilet paper, a lot of snacks. Normally I'll bring sandwiches. My wife is awesome. She makes sandwiches, and a lot of times I end up having more than one. So I whoever didn't bring lunch, I always bring something extra for someone at least. It's normally Dave, but just saying, Dave normally is the one that gets the sandwich most of the time. So, and then a lot of water. I probably bring 6-7 bottles of water with me. Do I drink that much? No, because I'm kind of in the mood of doing it, but I always have one with me. I just don't always drink that many bottles. So I don't really bring a flashlight. There's really not much more that I bring besides just maybe a little water bottle to spray something off if I wanted to. So I guess minimal for us because I don't want to have to carry it. And, my phone's already attached to me, which is what we use for filming anyways. So no tripods, nothing like that. So yeah, that's pretty much in my backpack. That's what I would bring.
I got you. Jerry, what do you got, man?
I'm like Rich. I usually rely on everybody else to bring. So I mean, the thing with metal detecting is you got to have your pinpointer, you got to have your metal detector, and you got to have a shovel. So as long as I got those three things, I'm good to go. But, I'll usually stop at the gas station. If we're woods hunting, we'll take some water back in or some food, some snacks. I usually forget mine. Sean is the one that brings all the food, typically, and Rich as well. I've eaten many of his wife's sandwiches out in the woods. What else? We usually have a finds box that we'll put our better stuff in. My pouch will have a junk pouch, and then it'll have a pouch with my finds box in. So if we're finding coins or relics or anything like that, we'll put it in there. And our junk pouch is, typically, if we're in the woods on an old site, all of our iron goes in there. We do a lot of iron. So we'll throw the iron in there. And then at the end of the day, we go back to the truck and we have a bucket and pitch all of our stuff in. And actually, Rich, he'll actually, once a month or once every couple of months, he'll actually separate out all the copper and things and take it in and actually get a nice $30-$40 worth of, money for the
It's actually
copper.
More than that.
Right.
Not to interrupt, but it's like sometimes, like we'll do it probably twice a year, and it's probably about 120 each time.
Wow.
So it's not bad.
And
we
then,
dig too much. That's what it is.
And then Rich will purchase silver for everybody, which is nice.
I do. I'll go up and get like silver rounds and stuff, and I'll get them all for the guys, and I'll be like, hey, this is what we got. So we ended up getting each got a silver round. There was a time that we got just constitutional silver for it, just because that way it was something, because you're
like 10 rosies or something like that.
Yeah. So
That's
it was
a pretty good idea.
Yeah, technically it's free, and that way you can put it in your collection, just keep it away, and can't buy gold, but just buy silver.
As long as I got those three things, I'm good to go.
All right,
and an extra 9-volt battery, which Sean always brings.
I was gonna when I got to my turn, I was gonna talk about the extra batteries, but Gene, you take the boys out with you a lot of times. There's more than one of you. You got to think for a whole family. What's your backpack look like when you leave the house?
I mean, I'm just a lot like these guys with the items that they listed. Some things that they didn't that we take sometimes. Seth isn't exactly a metal detectorist, so he just has a bag with him. He's a sight finder, so he's picked up coins, rings, bracelets, nice pieces of pottery. He's found some just very interesting things just looking. So Seth always usually just grabs a bag. I also have a gimbal that I have. It has a small tripod on the bottom, so I can do some of that kind of, put my phone in that, and that's probably one thing that I have that you guys didn't mention.
I know for me, of course, you got the detector, the pinpointer, the shovel. I normally don't use a hand digger because when we go relic hunting, we're normally in a huge field, and the farmer doesn't really care. So we have a cattle farm we go to, so we just dig. We fill it back in, but we don't really care about the grass.
I bring the hand. I always have a hand digger just because in the woods you get roots. So sometimes you have to get around those roots, and you need a smaller shovel to get around it. So that's mainly why I have it. So.
Yeah.
And then if we go to the beach, of course, our scoop, have to have the scoop.
Beach is different, even in attire for me.
Yep.
I'll wear shorts, a t-shirt, my scoop, detector, pinpointer, but I don't even really use my pinpointer as much.
No. And then I would say for us, we always usually take a football or a Frisbee or something like that, so when it's break time, there's something to do. Today when we were at the beach, we were throwing football for a while, and Seth and Cole took bocce ball, so they were playing bocce ball, which is, so we take some extra stuff like that too, but not everybody's going to take that into the woods or at the beach with them.
And toilet paper, yes.
Toilet paper.
Man, I don't know what it is, guys, but it's like my happy place, and my body says, all right, you're at home, let's go. Every single time. Come on.
You don't want to be stuck without it.
No,
that could be the worst part. I'm going to just go ahead and go off of what everybody else said. I agree with most everybody else's lists. The one thing I do have a question about is you're on an island in St. Croix. Is bug spray a good thing for you out there? Do sand fleas bite, or what do you have to deal with mosquitoes? What's all on the island of St. Croix?
On the beach, it gets bad when the sun's setting. When the sun is hot, there's almost no insects because it's too hot. So whenever the sun is setting or goes down, the bugs get pretty bad. But normally we just leave because, there's just swarms. You kind of can't get away from them. But if we're in a farm, a lot of times, again, during the day, it's not really that bad because it's just so hot. They can't really
but I don't know why. But bugs don't bother me normally anyway, so I don't get eaten up by mosquitoes and that sort of thing. So we usually don't have bug spray, but it would be a very good thing to take. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that almost a necessity if you're going to be like he said at the beach at sundown or anything like that. I mean, those little sand flea things are pretty bad.
Yeah, I shopped yesterday, and I since my last woods hunt, I noticed that I started having a few bites, whether they be chiggers or whatnot. So I bought my 2 cans of DEET basically for the whole summer. I'll keep that and use that. Also, the extra 9-volt batteries are a must. Also, I have 2 cameras in case one goes bad, and I have my phone. So GoPro batteries. I have a really nice camera that if something really calls for it, I'll break out and use. It's in my backpack. Always take both coils. You never know when you're going to need the small coil and a patch of iron. And so it's not too hard to carry. Beyond that,
not in the backpack, but in the truck, we always throw an extra detector and shovel as well. So we don't carry it with us, but it's there just in case.
Yeah, I was going to say that I don't usually take my backup detector, but here lately, when we get into the summertime months, a lot of times when you find a permission, a really nice thing to have is another detector with you in case a property owner or a homeowner would like to dig with you, and you've got something that's pretty simple to use. That's not a bad idea, especially if you're looking to gain some really nice permissions, but I don't want to get too far into that part of the topic. But it's really nice to have toilet paper because you never know where you're going to end up. Plenty of water, snacks. Yeah, those are all good necessities. I'm really big on the batteries. I like to make sure I have enough juice to last the whole day on everything.